Good morning, friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we are going to spend some time here in the shade garden at the chicken coop. Today is one of those days where we are going to try to whittle down the stash of plants that I have been gathering for about the last year. Yes, some of these plants have been in containers for a year, and we are going to do our best to go ahead and get them in the ground. I have a whole list of plants that can go in the ground. A little thing called time is going to be my factor today because I have a hot lunch date with Sweet Thing. So I'm trying to get as many plants in the ground as I can before lunch, and not sure why I chose to wear a white shirt today. It'll be interesting to see if this shirt stays this white. I will do my best. So let's talk about the plants that we're going to put in, because dear heavens, I have got some absolute stunning plants. Most of these are going to be all perennials. That I do have a couple of hydrangeas that we're looking to add in the ground as well. Possibly even camellia. We'll see if we can find a spot for her. So here we have in the back of the John Deere, Johnny, as I affectionately call him, I've got 4 different hostas that we're going to look to add. Y'all, this one is a 3-gallon hosta. This is the Shadowland Diamond Lake from Proven Winners. And when I say it is an absolute beast, that is what I mean. Our friends at Walter's Gardens, of course, they're the home of, I'm trying to get the tag out. I can't get it out. Oh my gosh. Okay, I can't get it out. They are the home of the Proven Winner perennials. They sent me a great stash of perennials the end of the season last year. So this baby overwintered, Diamond Lake, overwintered in the pines, has come out in all of her glory, and she is desperate to get out of this container. So we're going to add it to the container. As you can tell, Diamond Lake is going to be a good size one. It is considered more of that blue hosta. It is a solid color, has a little bit of a wave to the leaves to it. You can see it has that little bit of that curvature to it. Just a beautiful, beautiful plant that will need a little bit more shade than some of the other ones that I am using. So for us in the South, hostas definitely are shade perennials. If they have that blue hue like Diamond Lake does, it needs more shade. If we have more bright colors, more white in it, this is Minuteman from that we had last year. Grabbed them up. I don't think we have any more right now. Again, I've had this one for a year, waiting to be planted, but see how Minuteman has lighter colors? This will allow it to have more sun. So if you have a bright chartreuse hosta, it can do more sun than like a dark hosta. And then I have 2 of these gorgeous beauties. This is one of the newer ones from Proven Winners. This is Voices in the Wind. And Voices in the Wind has that gorgeous, like, again, more of that blue in the interior with that little bit of that edge, has that ruffle to it. This one will be about 17 inches tall. It says 46 inches. Where I live, the odds are it's not going to get that big because of our heat and humidity, but I have 2 of them, so I'm going to kind of put them close to each other. So we have those that we're going to go ahead and get in the ground. And then we're basically going to be working in this island bed because this tends to be my more shady area right here. I have got 2 of the Feather Falls grasses that are in containers. I'm going to plant them in the ground right where they are. I'm thinking that the Diamond Lake is going to go here in the center of them because I have Greensboro red camellias. Be a beautiful accent right here with that Diamond Lake. And then of course, old Crimson Queen, she is just doing lovely. Of course, that classic Japanese maple. So if that Japanese maple does well here and doesn't burn, then my hostas will do well as well. So Diamond Lake is going to go here, and I'm thinking I might put the Voices in the Wind maybe somewhere in here as well. Then, y'all, this is, I guess, the plus and minuses of owning a nursery is we have this hydrangea right here. And this is a mystery hydrangea. Somehow she lost her tag. Don't know which one she is at all. I do know that she is a macrophylla because of where she was located, what her leaves look like, her structure. So I know that it is a Mac. It's either a Mac or a Serrata. Either way, they need more of that shade. So we're going to plant her and then see what happens. it's just, you know, gardening is one big science experiment. So we're going to go ahead and plant her there as well. Let her get used to where she is. Hopefully she will bloom this season. There's no reason why she shouldn't. And then we can kind of figure out what she is as we go along. Now, I would love to be able to get my hellebores, my Lenten roses, in the ground because I have been holding on to these babies since February. So I've got, I think, a total of 9 right here. They've just been hanging out. I've been watering them. They're on the end of their bloom cycle. That's fine because they're all different. I'm just going to be planting them in the landscape. And then, as I just grabbed the other day, this beautiful aspidistra. This is Milky Way. And we'll see if she gets in the ground as well. This is my camellia. That is the high fragrance camellia. It has one last little bloom as the end of the bloom cycle with it. It is a double pink, nice and soft. So we'll see if we can get her in the ground as well. I would love to be able to plant in this area, but as you can tell, I have a little bit of a problem here and cannot plant. So this garden also has, the plan is that it's going to be a shade garden, but between the storms that we had last year, we've had tons of trees come down. This one is stuck, needs to come out, but until this area is all cleaned up, there's no point in planting because the plants are just going to get trampled when we have to clean up the trees. So this area is on hold as far as adding new plants to it. So that's why we're not going to be focusing any plantings in here. I would love to. I just got to get my boys focused to get these trees down for me so that I can plant. So what we're going to do is, all right, my supplies. So I have my 9-inch power planter auger because that is going to be an absolute game changer for me here in this area because of course we are underneath those trees. We have roots in here, and so using that 9-inch power planter makes all the difference in the world. Should be able to get these babies in with minimal effort and hopefully not getting too crazy dirty. And then I have my Biotone starter fertilizer. Everybody gets Biotone. Not going to be adding in compost because in the late winter, Jackson came through for me and in this bed and put a really nice thick layer that we call the Creekside blend. Is compost and aged pine bark fines. So there's tons of great organic matter on top. So I'll pull some of that away, let some of it work in when I drill my hole, and then when the plants are in the ground, then I can bring it back up and add that mulch around it to it. So that's why I'm not going to have any kind of like compost or anything that I'm adding to it because I have tons of bulk stuff right here in the garden already. So I'm just going to get everything set up. Make sure I like the plant placement of everybody. We're going to get them in the ground and let's see how many plants we can do. My friends, we are done. He's still talking to me. He's trying to have a conversation. I'm like, babe, we got a lunch date. We got to move, bubby. We got to go get our hot date going on. So we are going to wrap this up. Got a good number of plants in the ground, not all that I wanted to, but let's just be realistic. When does that ever happen? It's very rare. So let's start on the reverse, and then we'll go to the first where we did first, because that, without a doubt, is my absolute favorite. This is my new favorite spot over there. So on this end, near the, I guess you would say like to the right, yep, where we were not too terribly long ago, planting some hostas and aspidistra and a chameleon, that kind of stuff. So just to give you a little bit of perspective, you can see Minuteman glowing right there. So he is right there. We'll get a good size, have him between the Let's Dance Arebas, and they're doing great. They're doing really well, flushing out, doing nice. And so I thought the Minuteman would be a nice little way to tuck in that corner, because you've got Minuteman here, and then on this side you have the Sun Hosta, and the colors they are similar to one another as far as how they are darker in the inside and lighter on the outside. So I thought that would be kind of fun to kind of balance that area out. And then of course back here in the back, I've got a container with some aspidistra and just the little mini hostas. So these are little tiny, the little miniature ones. It's so stinking cute. And then look at Blueberry Muffin back here. We planted those just a couple of weeks ago when they were completely dormant, just had the little eyes poking out, and then they are filling out quite nicely in here. So I like having that color contrast. Again, notice Blueberry Muffin is a blue, so it's as far back as we can go to give it as much shade as possible. So having that Minuteman right here will bring a nice little different kind of color to it. And then of course the Milky Way cast iron back there in the back, because I need that to be in the shade. I am losing trees. That's what Jerry and I were just talking about. Jackson came in here the other day for me and took out the tree right here. It was dead, deader than a doornail. So that's why we put the Milky Way back here, because it's underneath an oak tree, and then the beech tree is right here. So that will get some good afternoon shade for sure. And then that is right beside my Geisha Gone Wild Japanese maple. Now you might notice that I have the stake, because I need to bring Geisha, I need to bring her up and bring her a little bit over. I just don't have my twine with me, but she is flushing out quite nicely. Beautiful look to it. As we go up the stem, the trunk, we have a little bit more of that foliage is beginning to pop out. So I think Geisha will be really pretty with that Milky Way right beside of it. That's just a lovely thing. Now, with all of these plants, right, especially your perennials, those hostas, cast iron plant, whatever it may be, you can always move it, y'all. So if you're looking at something, sometimes I plant for the, like, what does it look like right now? But keeping in mind, of course, like long-term, longevity. How does everybody have enough spacing? However, when I'm planting hostas and those kinds of things, I go for more of a bigger impact right away, because my hostas with our heat and humidity are just slow growers. So if I were up in a cooler elevation where my hostas grew like crazy, then yes, I would space them further apart. But where I am, sometimes they'll just sit for a little bit of time. So this corner is, this is my favorite right now. Having that, with that Crimson Queen, with that color, that deep maroon color, and then you've got Diamond Lake in the blue. Oh my gosh, I love it. The Feather Falls Carex back there. Then we put the voices in the wind, so one voice, two voice right here to balance that out. And then I did get 2 Lenten roses in. So this is Merlin, and I did go ahead and try to label everybody. I have these copper plant labels, and then the pen is a plant pen, so it's UV protected. Because I'll tell myself, oh, I'll remember. No, I don't. It's the biggest lie ever. So they're nice and shiny right now. The copper is, but over time, can you see where the Crimson Queen is? That little name tag, it kind of mellows out. So yes, it's a little shiny right now, but it'll age and be just fine. But I love all of this. This is just so much fun. Now, don't know if it made the final cut, but when I was planting those hostas, y'all, I had to cut the pot off. When Walters Gardens sends you finished material, they don't play. Those things are massive. So all of the hostas, I had to cut the pots off, and then I didn't even use my hori-hori. I used my razor blade and just sliced the roots because they were definitely root bound, pot bound, whatever you want to call it, but extremely vigorous root system on them. I needed to break those up, and so make sure that those roots go out and not twining around. So if you get a plant like that, don't be afraid to cut the pot and just go to town and get those roots all broken up. That's another really important reason for using that biotone, that starter fertilizer. Gets those roots happy and gets them going out. The hellebores weren't very root bound at all. I just kind of broke them up just a little bit. They were fine. And then it'll be fun because I have 2 mystery hydrangeas. Who knows what they are? We'll find out when they bloom. So I put the one here that we talked about. So this is the one, and it is right there. Now, as far as either whether it's a macrophylla or a serrata, it doesn't matter. As far as pruning it, you want to let these completely flush out before you cut anything off. And what I would cut off would be stems that don't come back. So if they don't come back here, you know, in the next couple of weeks when everything's flushed out, then you can go ahead and cut this back, right? Hopefully we will get flowers this year, probably not right away because we've got a bunch of new growth, not a ton of existing growth here that it can bloom on, the old growth, but we'll see about that one. And then way back here in the back, we've got old itty bitty. And again, have no clue what this one is. It'll be some sort of mac or serrata, and it is a tiny one. So you can see that it's completely coming back just from brand new growth. So we'll see. I stuck her back here between the Greensboro Reds, and yeah, time will tell what she will do. And everything here will get some good like filtered sun, morning sun, but then definitely gets an afternoon shade because of the way the sun sets over the trees. So that is fabulous. But everything is looking quite lovely. Give you a little update when we were over here the other day, and I planted the clematis underneath the bird bath, and I was going to put string up or something so it could kind of climb up the bird bath. Well, I never did, and it clearly loves where it's at because it just absolutely took off. I mean, growing like crazy. So currently it is using the Abelia as its support, but y'all look at the flowers on this thing. Oh my gosh, love. Look at that. Is that not the most beautiful shade of blue, lavender, lilac, whatever you want to call it? Absolutely adore it. I'll have to find the name for you because of course I do not remember, but yeah, it's going all the way up here. So what I need to do is gently untangle her because she's attaching to the Abelia and try to bring her back more up the bird bath. But right now, she's so beautiful. I just don't want to disturb her. I will, but because she'll take over my Abelia. But dear heavens. Okay, so if you need clematis, go to Brushwood Nursery. That is online. They're down in Georgia. They specialize in clematis. Fantastic, beautiful plants. So everybody's coming along quite nicely. It feels good to get some plants in the ground. So, you know, as gardeners, don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed that you have a stash. Maybe you were holding on to a plant like me that I've had Minuteman for over a year because I have all these hostas that were supposed to go in this garden, but given the current tree situation, I'm not planting anything there because they'll get squished. So they've been hanging out. So, you know, it happens to the best of us, and whenever you get a chance, just get them in the ground. So that's what I'm really trying to do, is eliminate the stash and get the plants in the ground, especially because I'm running against the clock of the summer heat. Like, I want to get these in before the crazy heat of the summer hits, and so their roots can get established and they can handle those hot temperatures better. So that is the goal. But it has been a nice, cloudy, humid day, because we've gotten rain, and thank goodness it is cloudy because it is quite sticky. And but hey, we got some rain. The pollen is starting to wash away a little bit, so that is good. If you have found this fun, informative, and inspirational, we would love it if you would both like and subscribe to Gardening with Creekside, so that way you don't miss those 5 videos that we do every single week. Y'all have an amazing day. If you have that shade garden, maybe you can go to your local garden center, find some beautiful hostas. Doesn't matter what they are. Just find some gorgeous ones, some gorgeous shade plants, some Lenten roses. If you can find some aspidistra, put it in that garden. You will love it. Y'all have an amazing day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.